Hello, everybody. So we're going to continue with lesson 3.9, subtract decimals. Our essential question is, how can place value help you subtract decimals? So we're going to basically keep the same idea that we had in lesson 3.8, where we have to make sure that we line up all of our decimal place values. And we are on page 143 of the 5th grade Go Math textbook. All right, so let's look at the unlock the problem. Hannah has 3 and 36 hundredths kilograms of apples and 2 and 28 hundredths kilograms of oranges. Hannah estimates she has about 1 more kilogram of apples than oranges. How many more kilograms of apples than oranges does Hannah have? How can you use this estimate to decide if your answer is reasonable? Okay, so let's circle some important information. So we know that she has 3 and 36 hundredths kilograms of apples, and she has 2 and 28 hundredths kilograms of oranges. We need to find out how many more kilograms of apples than oranges she has. So that clue, that words how many more, is a clue that we need to subtract. Okay, and it wants us to circle the estimate that we're going to check to see if our answer is reasonable. And her estimate is 1 more kilogram. So let's go ahead and look at this. So the problem is 3 and 36 hundredths take away 2 and 28 hundredths. So just like any other regular subtraction problem, we're going to start right to left, okay, in the standard way. So we're going to start with the hundredths with decimals. So we can't take 8 hundredths from 6 hundredths. So we're going to regroup from the tenths. So we have 2 tenths, and now we're going to give 10 hundredths to the hundredths place. So now we have 16 hundredths take away 8 hundredths. So 16 hundredths take away 8 hundredths is 8 hundredths. Okay, now we're going to move to the tenths. Subtract the tenths, and then we're going to subtract the ones and regroup as needed. So 2 tenths take away 2 tenths. Well, we don't have to regroup that. We can do that. That's 0. Okay, we're now going to move to the ones place. So let's place our decimal. And we have 3 ones take away 2 ones. And that's just 1, right? All right. So let's draw a quick picture to check our work. So this is a review part. So start with the number that that you have. So we have 3 and 36 hundredths. Okay, and we have to take away 2 and 28 hundredths. So let's start with the hundredths. 8 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can't take away 8. So what I'm going to do in order to take away 8, I'm going to take 10 hundredths from the tenths. Okay. So I regrouped one of the tenths and gave it to the hundredths. Now we can take away 8 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to cross that out because we don't have those anymore. Now we need to take away 2 tenths. Well, there's 2 tenths left, so I can cross those out. And now we need to take away 2 ones. All right, so what's left? We have 1. We don't have any tenths, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths. So she has 1 and 800th more kilograms of apples than oranges. Since 1 and 800th is close to the estimate 1, her answer is reasonable. Okay. All right, so let's look at 144. So you'll remember from 3rd and 4th grade that we can use addition to check a subtraction problem. And so we're going to use that in this lesson just to verify that our answers are correct. So remember that subtraction and addition are inverse operations. It means they're opposites. And you can check subtraction by adding. So let's find the difference. Remember, we're going to subtract the hundredths first. Now, when you notice this number, 14 and 2/10, take away 8 and 63 hundredths, they don't have the same exact place value. So let's add a 0 to the right of the 2/10. Now they both have hundredths. All right, but I can't take 3 hundredths from 0 hundredths. So we're going to regroup. We're going to take 1/10 and give 10 hundredths to the hundredths place. Now we can subtract. 10 take away 3 hundredths is 7 hundredths. 6/10 taken from 1/10. We can't do that either, right? All right, so we're going to have to borrow from the ones place or regroup from the ones. We're going to take 10/10 from the ones and give it to the tenths place. So now we have 11 take away 6/10 gives us 5/10. All right, we're moving to the ones now. So let's place our decimal. I have 8 ones that I need to take from 3 ones. Can't do that either. So let's regroup from the tens. Okay, I'm going to take one of the tens and I'm going to trade it for 10 ones. All right, now 13 ones take away 8 ones is 5. So 5 and 57 hundredths. Now, the answer that I subtract, the answer that I get, if I add it to the number that I subtracted, it should give me the number I subtracted from. So let's see. Let's put 5 and 57 hundredths. Okay. And 7 and 3 hundredths is 10 hundredths. Regroup that as 1/10 and 0 hundredths. 6 and 5/10 is 11/10, plus one more tenth is 12/10. We're going to regroup that as 1 and 2/10. Bring down the decimal point. Now we're going to the ones. 8 and 5 is 13, plus the regrouped 1 is 14. 14 and 20 hundredths matches what we started with. So that does check. Is your answer correct? Yeah. So we need to explain why our answer is correct. So when I added the difference being the answer to a subtraction problem, the difference was 5 and 57 hundredths to the number I subtracted. What was the number I subtracted? 8 and 63 hundredths. I got the number I subtracted from. $14 and 20 hundredths. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and practice. Estimate, and then find the difference. So if we round to the nearest 1, the digit to the right of the 5 is greater than 5, so let's add 1 to the ones place. So 6 take away, if we're going to round to the ones place again, we have 2 1 is to the right, that's less than 5, so let's keep it the same. So 6 take away 2 is 4. So we should expect an answer close to 4. Now, let's start in the hundredths. 8 hundredths taken from 3 hundredths. Can't do that. So let's regroup from the 8 tenths. Let's take one of the tenths and give it to the hundredths. So we're given 10 tenths to the hundredths. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. We're giving 10 hundredths to the hundredths. Okay, so 13 take away 8 is 5 hundredths. 7 tenths take away 1 tenth, we can do that. We're at 6 tenths. Okay, let's bring down the decimal because we're going to move over to the ones. 5 take away 2 is 3. 3 and 65 hundredths, that's close to 4. So there our answer is reasonable. All right, let's estimate this one. 4, well, the digit to the right is less than 5, so let's keep it 4. The digit 1, the digit to the right is 8, which is greater than 5, so let's add 1 to that and round up. So 4 take away 2. So we're looking at an answer about 2. 6 hundredths taken from 5 hundredths. Can't do that. Let's regroup from the tenths. Let's give 10 more hundredths to the hundredths. So 15 hundredths take away 6 hundredths is 9 hundredths. I can't take 8 tenths from 3 tenths, so let's borrow from the ones. And let's give 10 tenths to the tenths. So 13 take away 8 is 5. 5 tenths. We're finished with the decimal portion of our subtraction problem. Let's move to the 1. So put the decimal point. 3 take away 1 is just 2. And 2 and 59 hundredths is close to my estimate. So my answer is reasonable. All right, number 3. If I'm going to round to the nearest 1, the digit to the right is 0. That's less than 5, so let's just keep it 4. If we're going to round this one to the nearest 1, the digit to the right is 2. That's less than 5, so let's keep it 2. And 4 take away 2, 2. All right, start with the hundredths. Can you take 5 hundredths from 3 hundredths? No. But there aren't any tenths to regroup. So we're going to have to go to the ones first. And let's take one of the ones and trade it for 10 tenths. Now we can regroup from the tenths. Take one of the 10 tenths. Take one of the tenths and give it to the hundredths. 13 hundredths, take away 5 hundredths, 8 hundredths. 9 tenths, take away 2 tenths, 7 tenths. We're done with the decimal portion of the problem. Put the decimal, and 3 ones take away 2 ones is 1. So 1 and 78 hundredths, which is close to 2. All right, number 4. Find the difference and check your answer. All right. So 3 hundredths taken from no hundredths. You can't do that. So let's regroup from the 10 tenths. I keep saying that, I'm sorry. Let's regroup from the tenths and give to the hundredths. 10 hundredths take away 3 hundredths is 7 hundredths. 6 tenths take away 4 tenths is 2 tenths. Bring the decimal down, and we move to the ones place. And 0 take away 0 is just 0. So the answer, the difference, 0.27 or 27 hundredths, added to what was subtracted, should give me the number I subtracted from. 7 and 3 hundredths is 10 hundredths. Regroup that as 1 tenth and 0 hundredths. 4 tenths, 2 tenths is 6 tenths plus the regroup tenth is 7/10. And so they do match. Okay, 13 and 2/10 take away 8 and 4/100. Okay, well, look here and I notice that this is in the hundredths place. This is in the tenths. I want to make them both have hundredths by putting a 0 after the 2. Now, can you take 4 from 0/100? Of course not. So let's regroup from the tenths and give one of those tenths to the hundredths. So 10 take away 4/100 is 6/100. 1/10 take away 0/10. We can do that. That's 1/10. We're finished with the decimal portion of the problem. Let's move to the ones. Can you take 8 from 3? No. So let's regroup from the tens and give one of those tens to the ones. So 13 take away 8 is 5. So if we take our answer, our difference, and add it to what was subtracted, we should get the number we subtracted from. 6/400 and 400 is 10/100, which will be regrouped as 1/10 and 0/100. 1/10 plus the regrouped tenth is 2/10. We're finished with the decimal portion. So bring down the decimal, and now let's move to the ones. 8 plus 5 is 13, and that does match the number that we subtracted from. Okay, number 6. 15 and 8/10 take away 9 and 67/100. Again, this is 67/100. This is 8/10. So let's add the 0. Now, can we take 7/100 from 0/100? No. So let's borrow from the tenths. Give it to the hundredths. 10 take away 7 is 3/100. 7/10 take away 6/10 is 1/10. Bring down the decimal. We're moving to the ones now. I can't take 9 ones from 5 ones, so let's regroup from the tens and give 10 ones to the ones. 15 take away 9 is 6. So we're saying our answer or difference is 6 and 13/100. Add what was taken away, and we should get the number that we subtracted from. 7/100 plus 3/100 is 10/100. Regroup that as 1/10 and 0/100. 6/10 plus 1/10 plus the regrouped tenth is 8/10. We're finished with the decimal portion. Let's move to the ones. 9 ones plus 6 ones is 15 ones. 15 and 80/100 matches 15 and 80/100. All right, move on to number 7. Page 145. Connect symbols and words, find the difference. 3 and 72/100 subtracted from 5 and 81/100. So 5 and 81/100 take away 3 and 72/100. Okay, so it's saying the number that we're subtracting from is 5 and 81/100. All right, now I can't take 2/100 100. So let's regroup from the tenths. So now 11/100 take away 2/100 is 9/100. 7/10 take away 7/10. That's just 0/10. We're finished with the decimal portion. Bring down your decimal point. And now let's move to the ones. 5 ones take away 3 ones. 2. So we read that as 2 and 9/100. Number 8. 1 and 6/100 subtracted from 8 and 32/100. So the number that we have is 8 and 32/100. We need to subtract 1 and 6/100. 1. Now how do we write 6/100? If I just write 6, that's not in the hundredths place, is it? So I have to write 0, 6. 1 and 6/100. All right, I can't take 600ths from 200ths. So let's regroup from the tenths. 12 hundredths, take away 6 hundredths, 6 hundredths. 2 tenths, take away 0 tenths, 2 tenths. We're finished with the decimal portion. Bring down the decimal point. Move to the ones. 8, take away 1, 7. 7 and 26 hundredths. Number 9. Write the unknown number for n using reasoning for algebra. Using reasoning. Concept of algebra. So number 9 is no different than what we've been doing for all of these problems so far. So 5 and 28 hundredths, take away 3 and 4 tenths. Well, let's keep our place value the same by adding a 0 to the after the 4. All right, now subtract the hundredths. 8 hundredths, take away 0 hundredths is 8. I can't take 4 tenths from 2 tenths. So let's regroup from the ones and give 10 tenths to the tenths. 12 tenths, take away 4 tenths is 8 tenths. We're finished with the decimal portion. Bring down the decimal point. 4 ones, take away 3 ones, 1. So n is 1 and 88 hundredths. You could verify that answer by taking the difference and adding it to the 3 and 4 tenths. And you should get 5 and 28 hundredths. Okay, number 10. N take away 6 and 47 hundredths equals 4 and 32 hundredths. Well, let's go back to third grade basic math fact families. And let's say we have 7 take away 5 equals 2. Right? Well, it's also, if that's true, then 7 take away 2 is 5. So here, the n is kind of like saying the 7. The 6 and 47 hundredths is kind of like the 5. And 4 and 32 hundredths is similar to the 2. So if we switch I jumped ahead of myself. That's actually number 11. Sorry. Ignore what I just said. That is true for number 11. This one is what we've been doing to check our answers, right? Our difference is 4 and 32 hundredths. We subtracted 6 and 47 hundredths. That will give us the number we're subtracting from. All right, so let's just add. 7 and 2 hundredths is 9 hundredths. 4 tenths and 3 tenths is 7 tenths. And 6 ones and 4 ones is 10. So 10 and 79 hundredths. We can verify that by subtracting 6 and 47 hundredths. 9 hundredths take away 7 hundredths is 2 hundredths. 7 tenths take away 4 tenths is 3 tenths. We're finished with the decimal portion. And 10 take away 6 is 4. So that does work. So 10 and 79 hundredths is n. That's the number we subtracted 6 and 47 hundredths from. Now, number 11. Okay. So this one is what I was trying to say with 7 minus 5 equals 2. Okay. So if 11 57 hundredths is similar to the math fact 7, and we're going to take away an unknown number, like 5, it should give us 2, right? But if we also then take 11 and 57 hundredths and take away 7 and 51 hundredths, we should get the other number, the other math fact, right? So it's very similar to that. So all we have to do is take what we're subtracting from and subtract the difference. That'll give us the number that's being subtracted. So 7 hundredths take away 1 is 6 hundredths. 5 tenths take away 5 tenths is 0 tenths. And 11 take away 7 is 4. So we're saying our answer is 4 and 6 hundredths. We can check that by subtracting 4 and 6 hundredths. We should get 7 and 51 hundredths. 7 take away 6 hundredths is 1 hundredth. 5 tenths take away 0 tenths is 5 tenths. And 11 take away 4 is 7. Okay. All right, number 12. 8 and 42 hundredths. Take away 5 and 14 hundredths. Well, you can't take 4 hundredths from 2 hundredths, so regroup in the tenths. 12 hundredths take away 4 hundredths is 8 hundredths. 3 tenths take away 1 tenth is 2 tenths. 8 ones take away 5 ones is 3. So 3 and 28 hundredths. If I wanted to check that, I would add 5 and 14 hundredths to 3 and 28 hundredths. 16 and 46 hundredths minus 13 and 87 hundredths. Can't take 7 hundredths from 6 hundredths, so regroup from the tenths. 16 hundredths take away 7 hundredths is 9 hundredths. 3 tenths take away 8 tenths. Can't do that, so let's regroup from the ones. 13 tenths take away 8 tenths is 5. Put your decimal point and subtract the ones. Basically, we have 15 take away 13. That's just 2. Okay, if you added 2 and 59 hundredths to 13 and 87 hundredths, you should get 16 and 46 hundredths. 34 and 27 hundredths. Take away 17 and 51 hundredths. 7 hundredths take away 1 hundredth, 6 hundredths. I can't take 5 tenths from 2 tenths, so regroup from the ones. 12 take away 5 tenths is 7 tenths. Bring the decimal point down. You can't take 7 ones from 3 ones, so regroup from the tens. 13 take away 7 ones is 6 ones. And 2 tens take away 1 10 is 1. Can you take 5 hundredths from 3 hundredths? No, so you have to regroup from the tenths. So 13 take away 5 hundredths is 8 hundredths. 7 tenths take away 4 tenths is 3 tenths. Bring your decimal point down, and 15 take away 11 is 4. $12 and 74 hundredths, and subtract 10 and 54 hundredths. 4 hundredths take away 4 hundredths, 0 hundredths. 7 tenths take away 5 tenths, 2 tenths. Bring your decimal point down. 12 take away 10, 2. 48 and 21 hundredths minus 13 and 65 hundredths. You can't take 5 hundredths from 1 hundredth, so regroup from the tenths. 11 hundredths take away 5 hundredths is 6 hundredths. I can't take 6 tenths from 1 tenth. Regroup from the ones. So 11 tenths take away 6 tenths is 5 tenths. Bring down the decimal point. 7 ones take away 3 ones is 4. And 4 tenths take away 1 tenth is 3 tenths. So 34 and 56 hundredths. Okay, let's go ahead and check this one. So I'm taking the difference, add what was subtracted, and I should get the number I subtracted from. 6 and 5 is 11. Regroup. 6 and 5 tenths is 11 tenths, plus 1 more tenth is 12 tenths. Regroup that as 1 1 and 2 tenths. 4 and 3 is 7, plus the regroup 1 is 8. And 3 tenths plus 1 10 is 4 tenths. 48 and 21 hundredths. So it does check. All right, 18. Beth finished a race in 3 and 35 hundredth minutes. Anna finished the race in 8 tenths minute less than Beth. Fran finished the race in 1 and 2 hundredths minutes less than Anna. What was Fran's time to finish the race in minutes? All right, so that's what we have to find. We have to find out Fran's time. So let's start with Beth. She finished the race in 3 and 35 hundredths of minutes. Anna finished the race 8/10 minute less than Beth. Okay, so we just can subtract those to find what time Anna finished. Okay, so it's 3 and 35 hundredths minus 8/10. I'm going to put a 0 after the 8, so I have both of those have hundredths. 5 take away nothing is 5 hundredths. I can't take 8/10 from 3/10, so 13/10 take away 8 is 5/10, and 2 take away 0 is 2. So Anna finished in 2 and 55 hundredth minutes. But Fran finished the race in 1 and 200th minutes less. So let's take Anna's time and subtract Fran to get Fran's. 5 hundredths take away 2 hundredths is 3 hundredths. 5/10 take away 0/10 is 5/10. 2 take away 1 is 1. So Fran's time was 1 and 53 hundredth minutes. So Fran finished in first, Anna finished second, and Beth finished third. 19. Fatima planted sunflower seeds in a flower patch. The tallest flower grew 2 and 65 hundredth meters tall. The height of the shortest sunflower was 3,400th meter less than the tallest sunflower. What was the height in meters of the shortest sunflower? All right, so we know the tallest one was 2 and 65 hundredth meters. The shortest was 3,400th meters less than that. So if we take away 3,400th meters, that'll tell us the shortest. 500th take away 400th is 100th. 6/10 take away 3/10 is 3/10 with the decimal. And 2 take away nothing is 2. So the shortest sunflower was 2 and 3,100th meters tall. Number 20. In peanut butter, how many more grams of protein are there than grams of carbohydrates? Okay. Use the label at the right. Okay, so we see peanut butter, and we have nutrition facts. And it says calories 190, total fat 16 grams, saturated fats 3 grams, so on. We need to find protein and carbohydrates. So what do I need to know? How many more grams? How many more grams of protein than carbohydrates are in this peanut butter? How will you use subtraction to find how many more grams of protein there are than grams of carbohydrates? Well, you're just going to subtract the carbohydrates from the protein. So solve the problem. Protein, 8 1/10 grams. Carbohydrates, 6 2/10. Well, start with the tenths. You can't take 2/10 from 1/10. Regroup from the ones. 11/10, take away 2/10 is 9/10. Bring down the decimal and subtract the ones. 7 ones, take away 6 ones is 1. The peanut butter had 8 1/10 grams of protein. The peanut butter has 6 2/10 grams of carbohydrates. So there are 1 9/10 more grams of protein than carbohydrates. Kyle is building a block tower. Right now, the tower stands 8,900th meter tall. How much higher does the tower need to be to reach a height of 1 7/400th meters? Okay, so if I subtract the end height from how far it is right now, that'll tell me how much more has to be added. So 900ths taken from 400ths, you can't do that. So regroup from the tenths. So tenths, we're taking one of the tenths from the 7/10 and giving it to the hundredths. 1400ths take away 900ths is 500ths. 6/10 take away 8/10. Can't do that, so let's regroup from the ones. All right, so 16/10 take away 8/10 is 8/10. So 85 hundredths. Let's check our answer. Take our difference, add what was subtracted, and it should give us the total height. 9 and 5 is 14 hundredths, regroup as 1/10 and 4 hundredths. 8 and 8 is 16 tenths, plus one more is 17 tenths. Regroup that as 1/10, as 1 and 7 tenths. Bring the decimal point down because we finished adding the decimal portion. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So yes, 85 hundredths meters more. And 22. Dialyn scored 2.5 points higher than Gina at a gymnastics event. Select the values that could represent each student's gymnastics score. Mark all that apply. So basically, we want a difference of 2.5 points, or 2 5/10 points. So we just subtract these. You could also just take Gina's points and add 2.5 points. So if they're saying that these are her points, if you add 2.5 points, it's got to give you Dialyn's points. All right. I'm going to go ahead and practice subtracting. 14 hundredths take away 9 hundredths is 5 hundredths. 14 tenths take away 9 tenths is 5 tenths. 7 ones take away 6 ones is 1. And 1 take away 1 is 0. So 1.5. So no, that's not 2.5. All right, let's try the next one. 15 and 4/10 take away 13 and 35 hundredths. I'm going to add a 0 to the right of the 4/10. I can't take 5 hundredths from 0 hundredths. So I'm going to regroup from the tenths. 10 hundredths take away 5 hundredths is 5. 3/10 take away 3/10 is 0/10. Bring down the decimal. We're finished with that. And I see 15 take away 13, that's 2. So 2 5 hundredths. Well, that is not the same as 2 5/10. Remember, if you put a 0 after that, that would be 2 50 hundredths. So those aren't the same. So not B. Let's try C. 16 2/10 take away 13 7/10. Can't take 7/10 from 2/10. Regroup from the ones. 12 tenths, take away 7 tenths is 5 tenths. 5 ones, basically 15, take away 13 is 2. So 2.5. All right, so C works. And the last one, 19 and 25 hundredths minus Gina's 16 and 75 hundredths points. 5 hundredths take away 5 hundredths is 0. I can't take 7 tenths from 2 tenths, so regroup from the ones. 12 tenths take away 7 tenths is 5. And basically I have 18 take away 16, that's 2. So that one also could be a possible answer. Okay. So when I was saying that if I just took Gina's points and added 2.5, like, so 13.7 plus 2.5. 7 tenths plus 5 tenths is 12 tenths. Regroup as 1 and 2 tenths. Put the decimal point. 3 and 2 is 5, plus 1 more is 6, plus 1 is 16. You see that we get 16.2. So there's a couple of different ways you could solve that one, this problem. All right, so that's it for lesson 3.9. In our next lesson, we're going to work with patterns with decimals. So until then, I'll see you soon.